This is 45, yes.
This would be 45. So here we go. We are rolling. Anytime you want to begin.
All right.
I would love to start.
Here we go.
Let's go. It's time. Put on play pants.
Okay, welcome everybody into episode 45. He's Jason Ginty. I'm Rod Ryan. 45 podcasts and counting. And you can tell by my voice, still, this is a little lingering over from St. Patrick's Day on Thursday, dude. It's still not fully back 100%. Now we're going on a week. That's either some old man, old ball bullshit, or I really threw down on last Thursday, which I really did throw down last Thursday.
How many leprechauns did you blow? Come on, dude. Seriously?
No blowing of the leprechauns.
Fierce.
But yeah, we threw down big time. It was awesome. I did go out this week though too. Shit. Yeah, I did. I had to go out this week.
See, that's good.
So you're kind of stuck with this shitty sounding voice. We got some stuff to talk about. Academy Awards. The gay Super Bowl is on Sunday. And
wait a minute. Wait. I never heard it called that. It's pretty funny. The gay Super Bowl. That's pretty good.
Oh, it is big time. So, we've got one female on the show. I'm not really going to get a lot of Oscar insight from Chile or Alex, and I don't expect to get a whole lot out of you.
None.
And then I throw it over to Tessa on the show, and I'm like, talk to me. I mean, maybe you haven't seen all the movies, but like red carpet, who's wearing what, blah, blah, blah. She's like, no. I mean, just even the Academy Awards, dude, I just don't think people are watching these shows.
Nah, it doesn't interest me anymore. You know what? I used to watch.
But that's the one, though. I mean, I know a lot of these things, they've all gone down. And look at my company. We just did a show last night. But the Academy Awards, isn't that the one that, like I said, the gay Super Bowl, that's the one that's supposed to still get some ratings. And I'm not finding people interested in it at all.
It's so stiff. The whole thing is so stiff. I actually always preferred watching the Golden Globes because they're all sitting at those tables. You know what I mean?
Getting wasted. Yeah. It was a little bit more loose.
It's loose. And it's like, it's so serious. And they take themselves so serious. And it's like, come on, you're giving out trophies, you dumbasses. It's cool and all. But you know what the problem is? A lot of these movies, I don't recognize the actors that much anymore. And the movies that get nominated, I don't, who's got time to go watch the movies? I don't know half of these movies. Like I watch all these movies after it's over. I go, oh, well, it did well. It must be worth my time. I've rarely seen a movie prior to it going to the Academy Awards or the Oscars. I can't tell you the last time I've seen a movie before it actually won an award.
Sometimes, I mean, in years past, I have gone back and I wanted to see a few movies just so I knew, what the Academy was recognizing. I got a couple of theories on this, and, these aren't unique thoughts to me. It's just the celebrity of it. I come from my mom. My mom looked up to these people, and she grew up handwriting notes to Rock Hudson and celebrities, and they would write her back. And if you remember the movie Mommy Dearest, the No Wire Hangers movie, there's a scene in there where she is actually signing 8x10s. My mom would write to celebrities and ask them for pictures, and they would send them back.
No way.
I grew up with my mom loving just celebrity in general and movie stars. And it really did help me later on. I mean, I can talk about that stuff because it was always around. Celebrity now, where it was an exclusive club, to be a celebrity. Being a celebrity is so watered down right now.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's still the Academy Awards and it's for movies, but you know who Kim Kardashian is, and you know who Jake Paul is, but you don't know who's probably going to win the Best Actor Academy Award. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense.
Celebrity is watered down. It's not special. They all have their own Instagram accounts. Anybody that does win an award, they're just so accessible now. You used to tune into the Academy Awards because you would see them all together for the same reason that you said that you liked the Golden Globes. You got to see them hanging out. Maybe Tom Hanks was getting a little wasted or something. And it was kind of fun to see them interacting with one another. It's not, the celebrity business is not good right now. Meaning people don't care as much.
Like you said, it's watered down. Who gives a shit, right? Like, so I was just thinking, like, I used to watch because I get excited about some of the celebrities back in the day, 10, 15, 20 years ago, and then when Braveheart won an Academy Award for Best Picture, I'm like, I was super excited because I love that damn movie. I'm like, no, that's my movie. That dude won. That's awesome. Mel Gibson. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So I started thinking so you say celebrities watered down, and yeah, I will look at every hot chick. I will follow all that stuff. But who do you have that you follow that you're like, I don't give a shit what this guy does. I got to see it. Cause I was thinking about it. I'm like, the only people I get really okay, I want to see Jared Leto do well. He's weird, but he's talented as shit. And if he does something, I want to see him win. I want to see him do well. I want this Morbius or Morpheus or whatever the hell the movie is coming out, the DC movie Marvel. Anyway, he plays a vampire. I wanted to do well because I like Jared Leto. I like him. I follow him. I watch him from mountain climbing to singing to 30 Seconds to Mars to acting. I like him. Anything Jason Momoa does, I'm fucking watching that dude. He can unbox a thing of knives or some sneakers, and I'm like, fucking cool, because he's cool.
Right.
Outside of that, I don't have a lot. Brad Pitt, DiCaprio, I'll watch those guys. I'm super fans of those guys. Whatever they do, I'm watching it. There really isn't a lot, though. Who is it that you are like, okay, that guy, I'm following him. I'm excited to see when he talks. I'm like, okay, cool.
It's just it's hard to even compare it because they're just there. They're a click away on your phone of finding out what they're doing, and there's no mystery. I mean, part of being a celebrity was, you didn't have access to them, and then when you did see them, it was a huge deal. And now you have such access to them. When you're on their Twitter account, that's their phone number now, and you can talk directly to them. So because they're not on that pedestal anymore, they're just on Twitter every day like you are or someone else. I use Twitter as an example. Because a lot of celebrities still are on there. There's just it's not shiny. It's not mysterious. It's not, I wonder what what it's like to be, what's it like to be Matthew McConaughey? I kind of know.
You pretty much yeah.
I kind of can go look to see what it's kind of like being Matthew McConaughey. He does a good job of keeping his family separate. And I mean, he was a bad example, but just the point of celebrities just aren't special anymore. I don't know if that's me. But I kind of do feel that way because there's so many of them out there. I said, Jake Paul, and these guys that are boxing that came from YouTube, these are celebrities now.
Right.
People don't like me defending Kim Kardashian. I'm like, she's the most famous person in the world, and she's hot. I get it. You're sick of her. Stop making stupid people famous or whatever the big, catchphrase is right now. She's the most famous person in the world. And she's beautiful. Now, if you're annoyed by her, that's a whole nother thing. But you can't deny those two things.
No, she is. I will look at every picture she posts too. I guarantee I will see every picture she posts, hoping for a nice ass shot every time. Yes. I don't care. That's it. That's all I'm there for. I follow her, and that's why I'm guilty of the whole thing. But who was good at the mystery was, and he always says he's retired, but I just don't see that happening. Daniel Day-Lewis. We've talked about him a bunch on this podcast.
That's a movie star, man. That guy's not on social media.
You don't know shit about that dude. And that's what's so great about him. He's a guy that you're like, oh, okay. Well, that motherfucker shows up. You're like, okay, I'm paying attention now. But there's very few people that do that. That's actually should be the thing that people should be doing more of now, is not being out so much. But the idea is get out so much so that I build my numbers, and then I can make more money off all my brand and my product and all my bullshit. But if you really want to be serious or that celebrity, don't do shit. You don't see a lot of Brad Pitt too often. He's pretty quiet about stuff. He'll show up on certain interviews, but it's pretty rare.
George Clooney as well.
Clooney does a very good job.
They're not goofballs. They're not goofballs on social media.
No, every once in a while they'll do some things, but it's very rare. So, but those guys they grew up when it was the old school way. They're still kind of a throw over to the old school guys, the Sinatras and all that.
So I don't know if there's a light bulb above my head right now, or if you can see, is there smoke coming out of my ears? Dude, shit's happening as I'm talking right now.
Good.
And I've never self-diagnosed myself like this before. In this market here in Houston, you'll know Walton and Johnson in New Orleans.
Right.
These guys were, Walton and Johnson were on forever. There was guys on KLOL, which was a legendary rock radio station, and Stevens and Pruitt. And, you didn't have access to them like people have access to you and I. Now, I know you're going to say, Rod, you went from Brad Pitt to talking about you. Hang on a second. Hear me out, though.
Same guy, basically.
Whatever kind of half-ass celebrity that we get that comes along with radio, even though you're on the last, you're barely touching the first rung. My finger is on the first rung of the ladder of some kind of celebrity famous ladder. Just hanging on. But people have so much access to us now. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was probably more special when somebody saw me out 10 years ago than it is right now. They see me all the time on Instagram. I'm on the computer every morning. My show is live. You can watch it in studio. A lot of that mystery has gone away. And I'm just wondering, what has that done for my brand? I feel like people still get excited. They're like, hey, you're on the radio. I'm a big fan and I listen. And I love that. And because we just kind of went through that with St. Patrick's Day and we saw people out this week, or just this week I was out. But now it's just like, hey, Rod, what's up? I've been here so long. I'm constantly sharing, not only on the air and personal things, but just on social media. And there's Rod. That just happened to me as I'm talking about why celebrities don't matter as much. These dumb radio guys don't matter as much anymore.
Yeah, but I think because, like you said, we're on that bottom rung, just kind of reaching for it.
Dude, one finger, just one finger on the ladder.
I think
and it's being stepped on.
Oh, it's being crushed. It's purple. It's big. It's bleeding all over the place. Yeah, believe me, it's bad. But I think for us, it's different. We're not in movies and shit. This is our thing. We've always tried to, back in when we first started in radio, it was, okay, we're out 5 nights a week, maybe 7. And you'd go and you drink with listeners. And that was your meeting. And it was awesome. And we grew our reach and our ratings, basically, at the end of the day. It all comes back to that through just shaking babies and kissing hands and having beers with people, man. We worked our asses off doing that. Yeah, we were out having fun, but we were always talking to people, and we were in the right areas to get it done. We didn't have social media back then. That was just being social and politicking. And now you've got that tool. And I think that for us, it's not quite the same. I've never done a real good job on social media until like the last year. So I've started doing more videos for the radio station, more shit. I'm like, all right, let me jump on this bandwagon because I like doing video. I love doing all that stuff and making graphics and different things. So I really enjoy doing it. So I'm doing it more. But I still get people that won't recognize me until I say my name, because it's been in this market for 25 years. I was buying shoes last week, new running shoes, about to go out and drop 10s, And the guy goes, what's your name? I go, oh, because he's putting the shit in the computer, He goes, oh, I go, Jason. And he goes, all right, Ginty. He goes, he stops typing. He goes, you know that guy on the radio? And I go, I do. I know him pretty well. So it's like
a dipshit on the radio that said that dumb thing the other day.
And he goes, man, I listen all the time, man. I listened when you and Rod were doing mornings on the end, and then now you're doing middays. And I'm like, yeah. So I said, well, yeah, I still do radio and shit. And it's just, I don't know. I think we have to push harder. We're one of those bottom rungers. We have to push hard to get our shit out there. So that way your brand is strong, because now we're not just selling over the air commercials. You're selling digital ads. You're probably got, it's all about clicks. And I'm sure.
Oh yeah. It's all, listen, the social media stuff is absolutely necessary for what we do. It is there. You just can't be Brad Pitt and say, I'm not doing this, or, you have to do it. It's a part of your gig. It is. You have to do it. I'm just saying, to be successful, you absolutely have to do it, because then it gives you that other option of making a connection with a listener. And it's just as strong as, responding to somebody. It's always better to be face-to-face and having a beer with somebody. And that's how I cultivated a lot of my following over the years. It's just like one beer at a time, just being out at different bars. And I did the same thing. You and I did the same thing going way back to Buffalo. And I always felt like if you had a beer with somebody, boom, maybe you could lock them in as a listener for a long time. Social media has kind of replaced that a little bit, and we have to do it. But I do think it waters you down a little bit because there's so much access. So as I was talking about the celebrities, the gears are turning in my head like, shit. Like, okay, the dude's on 6 to 10. That's about as much as that annoying asshole as I could take. And then, God damn, his shit keeps popping up in my feed all day. We have stuff going on all day right now. I just put something on our Facebook page. It's puppy day or something. I'm like, let me see your puppies. I want to look at dog pictures when we get done with this. It never stops.
No, but it also helps build your brand too.
Yeah.
It's cool because I've always, and we've never talked about this, I don't think, but we both approach it the same way. I think that I never thought about being on the radio that I was cooler than anybody else or I was a celebrity. I never thought of it that way. I always thought
I knew I was cooler than most people. I thought for sure, like, this cool there's got to be some use for this cool.
There hasn't been at all, has there?
No, still looking.
Bottom rung, bro. Bottom rung. But I just know that I don't know if we consciously did it or we just were just young and dumb and went out drinking all the time. But I always wanted to be accessible to listeners back then before social media. Anytime I got a chance to go out, shake hands, kiss babies, I was always that. I wanted to be accessible. I didn't want to be this guy who was just on the radio because I never got to meet those dudes.
Because your dad wasn't fucking Wolfman Jack, Sure. So, I do think it always goes back to coming from people that swung a hammer. And it's just, hard work definitely came through my dad's ball bag into my mom. Ugh, that's gross. And then it rained all over me. And then my dad's hard work is just raining all over me. And I'm showering now on YouTube in my dad's hard work jizz. And then boom, I do something completely different, but that hard work came through. Boom,
Well, it's like you always see I'm a huge fan of all the 30 by 30s. I'm gonna go throw up. Holy shit. Podcast over. We're done.
I just took a shower in my dad's semen. It's disgusting. I'm still drunk from last Thursday, bro. I'm sorry. I have not been able to get rid of my buzz since St. Patrick's Day.
I guess so, dude. Wow. Jesus, that's really gross and disturbing in so many different ways.
But it worked though. But it worked. Just let it rain all over you, Jason. Accept it.
That was my point is the hard work. It's the hard work, man. You know what? That's what we were always about. We always worked our asses off. And you know what? We worked hard, but we weren't swinging a hammer. So I didn't mind the hard work. It's not a big deal. It wasn't so hard when it was awesome 12 hours a day. That's why you still work 12 hours a day today in this day, because it's just what you do.
Our parents had no choice. They had to work hard at the hard job they had. Ours was a choice to work hard at what is not a hard job at sometimes. Sometimes it is. If it was easy, I say this, and I stole this line. I stole that line from when Jim Haslett was the coach. Now, we loved Jim Haslett because he was a Buffalo Bill when we were growing up. Yep. For a couple of years, he coached the Saints when they stunk, okay? And it was, I don't know, what's that asshole from Florida? Starts with an S.
Which one?
The coach that just, he was making fun of Jim Haslett coming in so early. Spurrier, Steve Spurrier.
Okay.
And Jim Haslett was known for getting into the office at 3:00 in the morning. And I thought that was cool. I like that. And Spurrier said something like, I don't see Jim Haslett, winning any games, because they were getting on Spurrier for golfing all the time. And, Haslett just said, look, there's 32 teams. If it was easy, everybody would be doing this. There's 32 of my jobs. Okay. It's not easy. I'm going to do it my way. Yep. So, he chose to do it. And I say that about radio. If it was easy, everybody would have a radio show.
Yep.
Problem is, that line is coming back to haunt me because if podcasting was easy, everybody would have a podcast. Oh, wait. Everybody fucking does have a podcast. Shit. That line has come back to haunt me.
Yeah, but not totally, because how many of them are actually decent? That's the issue. There's not a lot of great ones.
But there's a lot of static out there. There's a lot out there.
It's a lot of noise. And you know what? In the next 2 or 3 years, the cream will rise to the top. It always does. This is like anything that's ever come out. It's like to use our same old example. you know, the early 90s, all the grunge bands came out. So Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden. And then what happened? You got Candlebox. And then you started getting all these other, you started not to piss on Candlebox. I actually like that band, but like you started getting the second tier bands because everyone's like, oh, Seattle. So let's go sign every fucking band out of Seattle. You know what I mean? Where's Harvey Danger? We need those guys, you know? Right. Yeah, they're from Seattle, right? So it's like it waters it down. So the cream is always going to rise to the top. The better bands stuck out longer. They didn't have one hit. So hopefully Playpants podcast, a couple others we know, rise to the top over the next couple of years, you know, and that'll be it. All these shitty ones, so many people will start a podcast and walk away after 3 episodes because they realize that's a lot of fucking work. You know, a lot of people get into podcasting because they're like, how tough can it be? Turn on a microphone and talk to your buddy. We know. We put in work before the podcast. That's after we do all our radio shit.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, so it should hopefully over the next couple of years not come back to haunt you. The good ones will still be there. And hopefully some of them, like this one, gets better.
Episode 45, dude.
Actually, you know, the Facebook memories came up, and a year ago, right now, we were teasing that we're putting together a podcast. So we're coming up on our year anniversary. You believe that?
Oh, that's cool.
Weird, man.
You sent me, the reason why I brought up the Academy Awards, and I didn't expect to go on and on as much as we did, but we came up with a list today. I was thinking of, you know, the Academy Awards, we don't want to sit here and we haven't seen these new movies or anything, but what if we went back to all the best pictures and pulled out a top 5, our favorite best picture movies that won the Academy for Best Picture. So our top 5 favorite movies that actually won Best Picture. Okay. So we'll do a top 5 later on.
I want to go behind the scenes on the podcast real quick, Rod. I want to take everyone, because I always feel like this podcast is actually going behind the scenes in radio and music, and we kind of try to give out as much as our behind the scenes stuff because we think it's interesting. And a lot of people have chimed in over the last year that they find it interesting. So let's go.
I just took you behind the scenes in my parents' bedroom when they created me.
I'm still sick. Anyway, let me take you behind the scenes on the podcast. Okay. Right before we hit record on this bitch, Rod goes, you know, I listened, and you know what? We hem and haw. We talk about a lot of different shit in the beginning, and then we don't get to the meat of the thing. You know, like our top 5 is always like kind of the cool part of our podcast. And, you know,
I did say all of that.
And then, but it's weird to come out of it right out of the gate and do, hey, your top 5, and then talk about all the shit later. So it's like,
I mean, you're telling everybody exactly what I said before we fucking hit record.
Yeah. Behind the scenes. That's what it means. And you know, and so what do we do the last 20 minutes? Just fucking shoot this shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, we might have a good plan going in, but I guarantee it will fuck it up every time.
Yeah, I just did what I said we probably shouldn't do. Like, okay, let's get into the fucking meat and potatoes, all right?
But a lot of podcasts is just shooting the shit. I know it may sound like we're just shooting the shit every episode, but we're not. There is a plan in there, but we end up going off topic a lot. And that's why we do the podcast, I think, is because we do get to go off topic. Because if we were on the radio show, shit, man, we'd be doing the traffic and weather right now. You know what I mean? Like, this is why we do it.
Yeah.
So,
well, you sent me a pretty cool thing, and I thought I almost wanted to turn this into a top 5, but I still do want to talk about it though. Tell me your little fun fact with the Rolling Stones logo.
The Rolling Stones logo. Everyone knows this goddamn logo, right? The tongue sticking out with the lips.
Yeah.
Which is really just so recognizable. That pops up and you go, Rolling Stones. It just says Rolling Stones absolutely out of the gate. Well, it was March 26, 1971. The Rolling Stones lips and tongue logo appeared for the very first time when it was used on VIP passes for their show at a club in London. So I thought, hey, what are some other iconic band logos or logos?
That's the biggest one of them all, right? I mean, I would put the Rolling Stones logo next to Pepsi and Coke and Nike and Apple.
Yeah, no, I would say so. I'd say
Rolling
it's
Stones.
recognizable.
All right, so do we agree the most recognizable, most iconic? Don't tell me that the Beatles are bigger. Oh, that's fine. I'm talking about the logo, okay? Is that the most iconic band logo of all time?
I would have to say it is, because as I continued to look through all the different band logos, most of them are just fonts. You know what I mean? They're a variation of a font, which we could get into in a second. The Stones had a logo, and it was an actual logo. It was the tongue and the lips. And the thing that they stumbled upon that thing, and they stumbled on it. That wasn't going to be their logo. You stumble on shit like that. And they got lucky. They went with it, and it became super famous. And it was, I don't remember if it was ever on an album cover. I'm sure it was, but it's shirts.
It's on every album cover. It's all over the place.
It is, from 71 on. Yeah. But like that iconic shirt, that's the coolest. It's the coolest t-shirt for a rock t-shirt.
Yeah, it's the most iconic rock logo. All right, so if we agree on number 1, is there a real clear-cut number 2, the most recognizable? We can keep it to rock bands. Is there the most recognizable logo? Because it's hard because you recognize it when it's the band name. Where I'm going with this is AC/DC or Metallica. It's their name, but
it's cool.
I'm talking about the iconicness of the font that they use. It would have to be AC/DC, right?
Yeah, because AC/DC's was always badass. Whatever that font was, that sharp, font almost looked like lightning in a little way. And then the lightning bolt, I guess that's, in between the AC and the DC. That is badass. You can look at Led Zeppelin. Always seemed like they had a bunch of different things going on, but the one that's iconic was the cool font that said Led Zeppelin, and then like the angel with the wings kind of floating.
The Swan Song.
The Swan Song, yeah.
That was their record label. Yeah, the Swan Song is pretty badass.
But it's nowhere near the Stones. Nowhere in a million miles.
To be honest with you, if you said Led Zeppelin, I would think the logos, the Zoso, I would think the 4 individual logos would almost be more recognizable than the Swan Song.
Yeah, I think.
But I couldn't draw you. I'm thinking about, dude, I used to be able to crush, every folder in school.
Yep.
And you got to go back to the year that it came out. But like Def Leppard, all my folders, I could do the Dio script perfect. All right. I could do it like just from memory. Iron Maiden, I could nail it. I could do my Iron Maiden logos. I would draw them on every single folder. Van Halen, I could draw it. I didn't need to look at it. I could just draw it. Van Halen, that's got to be one of the most recognizable logos. And that would be up there. That would have to be, that'd have to be a top 5 logo.
Yeah, because it's more of a logo than a font, because it's got the V and the H and that V thing with the little wings off the side of the V and the H and stuff. That's a cool logo. I always thought Kiss was just a font, but they did it really cool with the color,
like the flame. The flame. Yeah, it was the ombre from the red to orange to yellow.
Right.
And Ace Frehley came up with that. I'm sure Gene and Paul own it now, but Ace always said that he came up with that font, and they took shit for it because it looked like the German SS. Those S's are like German SS's, and it looks like those are Nazi Germany S's right there. Yeah. So if you look at some of the old Kiss stuff that was released overseas, they wouldn't allow those S's. So if you get some imports, it's so weird to see a Kiss album, dude, with just regular corny grade school S's, and they weren't allowed those lightning bolt S's. Germany was like, you're not putting that out. We're trying to get rid of that. We're trying to make people forget that we were a part of that, dude. You're not pulling those S's off over here. Yeah, Kiss. That logo. I think little kids still know it.
Yeah. One that wasn't. It's tough now because the band, you just don't see them that much anymore. But the Who had like a logo where it was like a circle, almost looked like a target. Red in the middle, white, and then blue on the outside, and they had the Who. And then it was lowercase font, and then the O
is an
like
arrow
going up.
Is that like the London Underground or something? It's got to be something British. That color scheme's not on accident.
Yeah. I think it might be something from the Underground.
It's got to be something from the Tubes or something like that.
Yeah, the Tube, right? That's a good one.
Okay. I can talk about this. One of my personal favorites, Motorhead. That snaggletooth war pig.
Oh yeah.
With the fangs and the things and the chains. The Motorhead logo is awesome because they got the logo and they got the font.
Right.
You know, Motorhead works all by itself when it's just written out. But man, if you see that fucking skull, if you see that, I think they call it the Snaggletooth War Pig. I don't know, something like that. But you see that, you don't need the name. You don't need the name of the band on there. You know exactly what that is too. So I think that's pretty iconic. Again, I'm just a huge fan, and I'm always, thinking that they should be more, recognized. Every musician loves Motorhead. Rock musician loves Motorhead, but I don't know. The critics still aren't there yet. But I would say that's super iconic.
Absolutely. Another one that is really cool is in Iron Maiden. The font was always badass, and then you always had the fucking the puppet Eddie. Right? So
Eddie.
it was not really in the logo, but it was on every album cover. So they took a different approach, man. They had a cool font, but then they had this character they created that just showed up everywhere, that was in concerts and stuff, and it was badass. So that was a little bit different than a lot of other bands.
Shout out to Number of the Beast, 40-year anniversary just the other day.
Yeah.
So
cool.
3 logos, if you're a Maiden fan, 3 logos, because it was the font that they used, which was awesome. And that stands alone. Then you got Eddie in different images. That would be good top 5, man. What's the best Eddie image? Trooper's the best. Trooper is the fucking best. But then when you bought an Iron Maiden album, you looked for the logo of the artist that did all of those album covers back in the day. He had his own little circle. It was like a little arrowy kind of a Anki looking thing. It was always just like the Playboy album covers always had the Playboy logo on them somewhere.
Right.
That guy, that's how he signed his pictures. And it was always on the albums.
No way.
Yes. You'd have to look at it. Sometimes it was pretty obvious. Sometimes it was on Eddie's head, but you'd have to, when you got an Iron Maiden album, you would go and look for his name slips my mind right now, but yeah. 3 logos kind of associated with Iron Maiden.
That's a good one. Another good one was
what's new? Like, give me a new one. We're talking about like classic rock bands. Like, what's the newest, coolest logo? Is there one?
The Red Hot Chili
I have
Peppers.
one in mind.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. They got that weird red flowery star. That's not a star, but it's got like
it's an asterisk. It's an asterisk.
And then it says
Red Hot Chili Peppers. Asterisk. That's not easy to say.
Asterisk.
A thick asterisk.
That's what fucking guys in radio can't say that. Jesus. Yeah, it said Red Hot Chili Peppers in a circle around it. That's kind of cool. That's always been out there for a long time. That's still not a very new band, obviously, but newer. At least we're getting closer.
So if I say Avenged Sevenfold, do you know what their logo looks like?
Shit, it feels like I always thought they ripped somebody off. Who did they rip off?
It's the bat wings. So I mean, it's it's a skull and it's got the bat wings, and I think that's pretty. I'm trying to think of like a new band that has like this really kick-ass logo that everybody knows.
It's more just a lot of fonts. I mean, Nirvana was cool, but it was just a font.
They kind of had that squiggly smiley face guy that they were going to court over, but that was never huge back in the day. I don't remember that being huge. That became big later on.
Yeah, there's not a lot, shit. I mean, not new, but Guns N' Roses had the.
Yeah, it's so much easier to talk about like the classic rock bands
because that's when you cared about that kind of shit. It was part of your thing. It was because you had an album cover,
dude.
T-shirts,
fucking Boston, that fucking UFO that Boston used to use.
Oh yeah,
they had cool font and it said Boston, and then it had that cool spaceship thing that they I think they used that for everything. I know they didn't put out a million albums, but that's pretty badass.
Aerosmith,
but again, classic rock.
Aerosmith had the wings.
Yeah, they had the wings, and then they did have they had a really cool font for their. I could never draw it. I'm trying to think like
shit. No,
I was never Aerosmith guy back in the day, like where I could draw that on my folder. They weren't my favorite.
I got a good one. I mean,
I did draw Blue Oyster Cult everywhere. I was a huge Blue Oyster Cult fan, and talk about weird. They had that upside down question mark, kind of a cross upside down question mark. Dude, they were like one of my favorite bands when I was young. And I would draw that on everything. I would sign my name and everybody knew that I was going to draw that. I mean, I signed yearbooks with that stupid Blue Oyster Cult upside down question mark. I loved it.
The Grateful Dead. I don't fucking like that band at all, but they had
the skull
looking down with a lightning bolt over the top of the head.
Yep. That's huge. That's huge.
Famous. And then they had like the Bears too. That was another logo.
Yep.
Run DMC. You know what I'm talking about. Run DMC, baby. They had
it's like the white and the red.
And then the red
the
bars
lines
on top. Yep. Run DMC. Yep.
Okay. You want to go there? Wu-Tang Clan. There's a lot of Wu-Tang Clan merchandise out there right now.
You already lost.
They got that logo on everything. Somebody is banking on Wu-Tang Clan merchandise right now. There's a lot of it out there.
Really?
Yeah. And it's cool. I mean, it's a cool looking, it almost looks like a weird blade. It's a W, but yeah, the Wu-Tang Clan logo, I think that's pretty iconic.
9 Inch Nails. It was just simple. The N-I and then the backwards N.
Trent Reznor came up with that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
It's pretty cool when you come up with your own logo too.
That means you're just
geez. Dude, the Ramones, the presidential seal. That's a huge one because that got picked up by like Hot Topic. So then if you're going to mention the Ramones, because all those kids are running around wearing a Ramon shirt and they don't know any songs, then right there, you got to say it, the Misfits. I couldn't name 5 Misfits songs.
Could name 2.
But the kids wearing that skull, Misfits, that band made more money on merch if they truly do own that logo. That band, I can promise you, made more money on T-shirts than anything that they ever did. That includes touring and album sales.
Oh, yeah, because it had like Johnny, Joey, Dee Dee, and then Tommy in the circle around it.
Oh, that's the Ramones.
The Ramones, yeah. Sorry.
I'm saying, but the Misfits is the other one too. Like those guys didn't make any money.
There's a delay over the Zoom. I'm one behind you, bro.
Oh, okay.
Delay, I guess.
Well, but you see, there's those Hot Topic kids. They're wearing both of those,
right?
And they don't know songs from any of those bands.
No, of course not. The Doors had a decent logo because it looked like it was just a font, of course, but it looked like like when you screw in a regular head screwdriver. The O's had that sort of weird look to it. Guns N'
like
Roses,
a flat head. Yeah. Okay. Like visually, I'm thinking of it. It wasn't anything special.
You knew it stood out,
Yeah. Okay.
Guns N' Roses with their, the 2 guns and the roses, obviously. That was a good one. Most people didn't have
Foo Fighters. Okay. What about the red circle and the 2 F's for Foo Fighters? Because they've got their own font when they spell out the name, but is that super recognizable? The red circle?
It is to me, I think
it is to me too. I mean, it's not anywhere near, Metallica and AC/DC, dude. I mean, those 2 fonts.
Yeah, it's Metallica, it's AC/DC, it's the Stones.
Okay, guess what? So as I'm sitting here and I'm talking about all these bands that I loved and I'm writing all this stuff on every single folder, social studies, every single folder, I could never really get into the Judas Priest logo. The Judas Priest logo to me wasn't great. Now, you want to talk about fucking screaming for vengeance. You want to talk about that screeching eagle. Now that's badass. Like that's their best album cover by far, but they should have just used that eagle for everything.
Right.
But the Judas Priest font was always kind of weird to me. I never thought it was great.
Pearl Jam, there was a font, but remember the little dude? The stick figure dude?
I don't feel like the same thing with Nirvana using that kind of not really smiley face guy. I don't know if that little man was associated with the song Alive and that was really it.
They never,
and then it moved on after that in some merchandising, but I don't know the genesis of that man, that little stick man.
No, it wasn't.
They didn't seem to like adopt it and use it everywhere,
I love that thing. I thought that was cool as shit, man. Korn was just that weird backwards R, and the font was like a handwritten thing.
Yeah. They had backwards R.
Sex Pistols had a good logo. Look good on a jean jacket. There was one more I was gonna say. Fuck, what was it? Oh, I had one more. I lost it. Yeah, whatever. Who gives a shit? You start thinking about it, and there's some good ones out there. But most of it's just a font. Black Sabbath had that kind of cool looking font. Kind of a wavy. Motley Crue had the umlauts or whatever over top of it. I thought that was always cool.
Motorhead as well. Yeah, Motorhead as well.
No new band's got anything really badass.
Yeah, nothing's really coming to me. Like Linkin Park had a look to it. Linkin Park had a font. and I'm still got to go back 20 years. I'm just trying to think of what does the Imagine Dragons logo look like?
Flowers, giant vagina. I don't know.
I'm going to look it up. What does the fucking logo look like for Imagine Dragons?
Okay, but here's what I don't understand, and maybe you could help me out here. You know, as a guy in radio, you get served up a lot of bands sending you shit, and you know, I seem to get a lot of, hey, my band's playing here. And what is it with like the hardcore metal and the death metal and all that heavy shit where the font they use is like this drippy shit and you can't read what it says? I can't read. Don't make a logo where I can't figure out what your band's name is. The
heavier you are, the harder your logo is to read. There's something to that. There's something to that because from Buffalo, Cannibal Corpse, right? But you can read it. So then you go next level, and some guys that I went to school with, and shout out to Phil Fasciana and rest in peace, Daryl Hoffman. I'm sorry, Brett Hoffman. Daryl's still alive. But Malevolent Creation. I played with those guys a little bit. Malevolent. Really? Look up Malevolent Creation and tell me if you can fucking read, if you would have gotten what the hell the name of the band was. It's heavy. So the less you can read, the less you can read.
That's dumb.
The less you can read it, that means that the harder it is to read, the harder the band.
You know what that looks like? I'll tell you what it looks like, Rod. It looks like the jizz is spilled on the floor. The wasted jizz. It's on the floor. That's what it looks like. That's dumb. I just like, hey, help me out, man. I got to know what the hell you're doing here. Give me I don't know what your band's name is. I can't come see it if I don't know what the name is. You know what I mean? I just never understood the head. Oh, you're so heavy that I can't understand the name. You're the best.
21 Pilots have a symbol.
Really?
But I remember they put something out. I just looked at it. I'm like, I don't see it a lot. Coldplay. Has Coldplay got a big logo? Coldplay. They got to have a huge logo, right?
Probably not. I don't think so.
Coldplay logo.
No, it's just like font, swirly circles and shit.
Colors. Colory.
It's pretty.
They're colory.
It's very Coldplay-esque.
Yeah.
It fits the band. It's great.
Okay. Well,
I just, it's the Stones still. AC/DC, Kiss, Van Halen was good. Weezer sort of stole the Van Halen idea with little wings off the W.
Oh, 100%.
You know,
100%.
It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I'm making that cool thing, that cool logo. Rush had that cool font. You know, it's kind of like an old school hand-drawn font.
Are you talking about like the Starman?
Yeah, they had the Starman too. Yeah, the Starman and then the font over top of it. Yeah.
But that's I guess that is a logo that they went back to. Okay, let me ask you this. Everybody knows what Dark Side of the Moon looks like. And if you see that, I think it's just the black album with that prism on there. I don't even know if it says Pink Floyd. It might probably on there. But is that the band's logo, or is that just the album cover of their biggest album?
You know what? I see that to this day. I still think Pink Floyd. Doesn't matter if it's just on a picture or
but
whatever.
It's the album though. I mean, it's the album cover. Does an album cover morph into the unofficial logo of the band? Kind of.
They had a couple of different fonts they used. They used that.
Well, they went through different time periods. I mean, they were a psychedelic band.
Right.
So I'm sure shit looked way different when they were singing See Emily Play.
Way different. They had that real thin font, handwritten looking thing. It was cool.
Okay.
And then they had the real psychedelic one in the late 60s that they used. But yeah, well, you see that prism with the rainbow shooting out the side. That's Pink Floyd. You just think of that as their logo, I guess.
So Guns N' Roses have two. So there's the one where the two guns are pointing away from one another and they're wrapped in the roses, right?
Yeah.
And it's a circle. But then they got the cross with the original guys on it, which I don't know. I mean, I don't think they give a shit. I mean, that's Steven Adler's skull and his hair on there. And I think they still use it.
I think so.
You know? So there's two logos for Guns N' Roses, really. Or is it just Appetite? Or is that just the Appetite cross? And again, I'm confusing that with that's the album cover. That's not the band's logo because they had other albums and they don't carry that cross continually onto the other albums.
You know what?
It's like an unofficial logo of the band because it's their biggest album.
It sells a lot more T-shirts, and that's at the end of the day what
Yes.
we're talking about here, man. Your band logo is cool because it sells T-shirts. Anthrax was kind of cool. Had a weird font about it.
Yep. You know? I mean, that's what you're looking for when you say the name of the band and then you immediately say, "Oh, I know exactly what it looks like."
I know
It's the font, though.
It's hard to beat Kiss. It's really hard to beat AC/DC. Going back to the same one, the Guns N' Roses is huge.
Metallica's in there.
Metallica's is great.
Is in there with that crazy slanted M and A.
Yeah, Green Day had that when they did, what was it? Not American Idiot, but they had the heart. That was kind of their big thing for a little while. But Green Day's has always been that weird font. You know, they had.
I don't know that I could tell you the Green Day logo off the top of my head or what their writing looks like.
The second you see these, you start looking them up. You're like, oh yeah. It's easier when you're looking them up, but yeah, it's Metallica. Like you said, the logo thing is tough. Modern bands, you don't see it where you're going, oh yeah. Like name a band that you guys are playing right now, and I would not know the damn logo.
Måneskin.
Okay,
Måneskin. I don't know. I
don't know that one either. But anyway, it's tough not to have just a font. And then now
there's got to be something. I really want to come up with. I really want to give props to like some band that's come out in the last 10 years, and I want to say that's why I went Imagine Dragons and 21 Pilots. To be honest with you, I mean, I couldn't tell you what the Black Keys logo is.
It's a font, pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Consistent though that they carried through album after album.
No, that's all different.
There's not a Kiss album that doesn't have that Kiss, that's their logo.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sure I'm going to think of 50 of them when we're done with the podcast. I'm sure people are going to chime in and say, oh, you guys, you dumbasses, you forgot about this one, you forgot about that one. But the older ones seem to stick with it, but I don't know if that's just because they were cooler or because they've been around so much longer and they've just been drilled into your skull. But back in the day, you'd get your album cover. When you bought your either you bought your CD, your cassette, or your vinyl, you'd sit there and you look at that shit, and then we had what was the coating they put on those folders? Remember, it was like a blue denim almost on all your folders, three ring binders. It was like that bluish light blue, and it was like rough. And that's what we used to carve all our shit on.
Yeah. It was like cloth.
Yeah,
it was almost like a denim cloth material. You're right.
And you'd sit there for hours just fucking not doing math homework and just carving in V's and H's and Black Sabbaths and AC/DCs all over those things, like you said, man. I'm not sitting around putting the Coldplay logo on a folder. I got to be honest.
Derek Riggs. I knew it. I didn't know it. I had to look it up. At some point, I used to know that. He was the guy that created the Iron Maiden mascot, Eddie. And then he's got a little symbol that, again, you would get all the albums. And as soon as you got it, you would look around and you would say, okay, now where is his little symbol on the Iron Maiden albums? And it was just like Playboy. And they may have even stolen it from Playboy. But, the guy had this. It was his artwork. I mean, every Iron Maiden album really was a piece of art.
Yeah.
He was creating a new, image of Eddie, and molding it for what was on that album. So he reimagined that character for every single album. So I imagine it started, before we had all these computers and digital drawing. This guy probably painted that stuff back in the day. So yeah, that was his signature, and they allowed it on the album cover. They allowed his signature on there, and that was his little dealio.
That's freaking cool. I didn't know that. I'd always heard about the Playboy bunny was always hidden somewhere on the cover.
Yep.
So they kind of took that idea and ran with it for the album, the artist. That's cool. Shit, that's awesome. I like that.
It was a cool part about getting the album because you would go look for it. It's like, okay. There he is. There's the Iron Maiden guy, the guy that made the cover.
Yeah, as far as other band logos, dude, I can't think of any good ones. They're all just kind of weird fonts.
Why don't we take a break? That was good. I like the logos. Let's take a short break. At least you get to break. And then we'll come back and we're going to talk our favorite Best Picture winner movies for the Academy Awards. Our lists are going to be the same. I bet this list isn't going to take long.
No,
Because I think they're going to be very similar.
I got a funny feeling they're going to be pretty similar, dude. It's cool though. It's all right. You know what? I think it's going to be fun talk about these movies. And then, you know what? I'm going to have to go back and probably watch them again this weekend.
Now, I think our lists are going to look the same. The rankings is what was maybe difficult, but I got a feeling we're going to at least match up on 3 of our top 5.
Totally.
All right, we'll do that coming up right after I tell you about the Pirates of the Quarter. New Orleans is rolling, my friends. Get down to New Orleans. I need to get back. I was just there for Mardi Gras, and I can't wait to go back. My kid asks me all the time. Thank God my kid likes New Orleans. That's so great.
Awesome.
But if you haven't been in a while, or maybe you're like me and you just need to get back and you haven't, been away too long, make sure you book a tour. Do it already, man. Pirates of the Quarter. It's a walking tour in the French Quarter. The weather's really good right now. Now, if this podcast continues, and as we're doing it in August and September, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to say, listen, you live here in Houston or you live in New Orleans, and right now it's awesome outside. Go take the walking tour. This is the best. There's no other tour like it in the French Quarter. You're grabbing drinks. You're walking around. You're learning stuff. You're hearing these unbelievable stories that are believable, that are real stories, though. They seem they're unbelievable. These guys are giving you real history, and they don't need to sugarcoat it because the stories are just that cool on their own. So real stories, real pirates, their involvement in the history of New Orleans and the places that they did all their pirating at. Okay. So there's so much more to New Orleans than just Bourbon Street. Save a little time and discover the pirate history. I'm going to cough. Damn it.
We're not charging the client this week for that. They're not going to take that. They're not going to pay us. They're not going to pay
Pirates.
us.
This one's free.
All right. Another one. Jeez.
Like the last 44 of them have been.
Well, keep coughing.
New Orleans. There's more to New Orleans than Bourbon Street. Save a little time and discover pirate history in New Orleans. Details, piratesofthequarter.com and all the socials at Pirates of the Quarter. Jason, please talk.
I can't see why they would pay us. I mean, who wants to sponsor this shit show between the dumb shit we talk about every week and then hacking through it every time? Holy
right when
Christ.
I'm doing our huge sponsorship.
Oh, man. Well, we can probably next
Hey,
week.
Lunger.
Hey, can you get the other guy to read that? Because
Who's going to do your commercial? Get the Lunger. Get him to do it.
Get the guy with the sooty lungs to go over there and fucking do it, man.
What products do you want me to sell for you? I'll do anything. What do you need?
The patch.
Joe's Flower Shop. All right, we got the best flowers in town.
Oh, you know what's funny? Like you got certain announcers who can do certain commercials, right? And obviously, you know what? When it comes to a bar, a concert spot, a car dealer, you and I got that covered pretty well. We can do the hard sell. We can do that rocky, fucking badass sound, right?
Well, and then you're leaving out that you need a little energy.
And energy.
So,
right?
so the high energy spots, I tend to gravitate towards that stuff.
Man, they had me doing like can you do this flower shop? I go, have you fucking ever heard me? I can't do flower. Hey, I can't do it. I mean, I can pull it off. It's weird. It takes me about 50 takes because I got to really mellow the shit out. I got to go down and, sit down, take a whiz, read some girly magazines, really get in the moment. I actually got to work for those. So it's funny when you talk about that. It's like, yeah, I can't, those soft sells are hard, dude. The jewelry.
Check this out. This happens at every radio station, and it's gone on since the dawn of time. Okay. There's a lot of dudes at rock radio stations, right? So let's just pick a client out of the air. Oh, I don't know. Adam and Eve. Well, we really kind of want a chick. Now you got to go get somebody at the front desk. You got to go get the sales assistant. You got to get somebody in sales. And if you've ever heard the commercials on the air, now we have a lot of female representation at our station, so it's not really a problem. But years ago, you would hear on some rock stations, you would hear a voice, and it would be something like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off.
Probably not.
And guys, we've got the stuff for all of those hard decisions. And it was every awful line, and it was being delivered by somebody that was being told to sex it up a lot. And they didn't normally do that, and they weren't comfortable at a microphone. I've heard the absolute worst dildo shop commercials ever. And you can tell immediately that it was Janie from sales or or the sales
Right.
assistant, and they gave her this copy, and somebody's telling her, no, I need more breath, and yes, open late night, and this person is completely uncomfortable with the copy.
Yeah, because they're sitting there with a guy like me who used to do that for a few years, making all the commercials, man. You know what? In this day and age, I would be very uncomfortable going and asking somebody who I worked with, hey, can you read this copy? It's all about sex toys. That's almost sounds like I got to have a fucking meeting with HR afterwards just to ask somebody to read that commercial. I wouldn't even do it. I'd be like, nah, we can't have that. You're going to have to fucking farm this shit out because I'm not doing it now. I don't want to have a 5-hour meeting and sign a bunch of papers because I had to make a commercial about freaking vibrating dildos. the two pronger ones, those actually look kind of cool. Anyway, Rod, the Oscar
Academy Awards are this Sunday.
Would you call it the gay Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's this Sunday.
I'll never not think of it that way anymore, but it kind of makes sense. Yeah, I probably won't watch it, dude, because I don't think I've seen any of the movies. I really haven't. I don't pay attention as much as I used to, I don't think, like you said, we were talking earlier, I don't think people talk about the movies as much as they used to either. Do you sit, it used to be like, oh, did you see this? Yeah, dude, it was great. I saw it this weekend. Movies came out. It seemed like everybody go. Of course, the last couple of years have been weird. It doesn't feel like we have the same conversations about movies anymore because there's so many movies on Netflix now. So you're sort of scattershot everywhere, And there's
a couple of guys, and it's the same thing is when we get on something where we just sound like two old dicks on the radio and blah, 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 or on the podcast and we're talking and it's like, listen to these old fucks. There are a couple of guys, and I think Steven Spielberg is one of them, that he doesn't want movies that are on Netflix. And I think Scorsese's another one. And I mean, when those guys talk, people listen.
Right.
But I think it was maybe Scorsese, but they're having a hard time with these movies that are being released on streaming services being eligible to be Best Picture. Now, I understand we had to change things and we had to pivot and we had to do things during the pandemic, and not everybody, I mean, I haven't been to a movie theater since the pandemic started, which is freaky to say out loud. I haven't been to a movie theater in over 2 years.
I think I went to one,
but it's different. So I don't think we can ever go back. It can never be, but that's still, to me, even though I haven't gone and supported it, that's still a movie to me. That's still a movie going to a theater, but HBO Max and all these other streaming services and movies, when those guys made movies, they were meant to be on a huge screen, okay. So you watch a little bit of this stuff. You and Henry watch these superhero movies. There's got to be a massive drop off. I don't care how big your TV is. There's got to be a massive drop off from what you see in the theater and what you see at home. That movie was made to be seen in the theater. Am I right?
Absolutely. And those are the only movies we really go to the theater. If we're going to go to the movie theater, it's going to be the superhero shit or like a Star Wars. One of the
got to be way better.
That's it. Outside of that, I'm not going to go and see a lot of these other. I'm not going to go see House of Gucci at the theater. That doesn't need to be seen on the big screen. I'm sure it looks better and I get it, but I'm seeing the superhero shit in a theater. I'll go see the Morbius movie or whatever the Jared Leto thing is in April when it comes out. I'll go to a theater to see that because that's for that. I'm not going to go see a lot of these other movies because who gives a shit? You don't need them. You don't need.
And it's not just, and I don't mean to say it's just special effects, but that's just it's an easy example to say, listen, that's got to be way better on the big screen. All movies are better on the big screen, I mean, all of them. Some of the movies that I'm talking about here in my top 5, obviously I saw them all in the theater because I didn't pick anything from the last 10 years as my favorite, I don't think. But when it comes to, okay, I'll just say this, whether it's on your list or not, the Shape of Water.
Right.
I bet you that would have been awesome on the big screen. I mean, that it didn't need to be on the big screen. And of course I saw that. And I saw Green Book and I saw some of these movies, Joker. These are things that either won or were up for Best Picture that I'm sure they would have been better at the theater. It's always cooler on the big screen. But I think we're just going to be raising kids now. Henry's going to see superhero movies. By the time my kid really wants to go see this stuff, she's like, you used to leave the house
what's the point?
to go see a movie and go somewhere? Why? Why would you go somewhere when you can just have it and you can sit on the couch?
But you also got to keep in mind the technology has changed in the last 15 years, where before, you're watching on this shitty little box and the sound was terrible. The picture wasn't that great. Now your TV is huge, takes up half your house. Chances are you get a pretty damn good sound system. It almost sounds as good as the movies if you crank it up. I mean, I don't ultimately need to go. I can sit there in my underwear. I ain't got to drive anywhere. Yeah, I'm an old man. What can I say, right? I'm not going to go to the theater to watch just a J-Lo movie. That's going to be on Netflix. You know what I mean? I'm not watching that shit probably ever. But you know what I mean? I'm not watching those at the theater. I will watch the big, huge, cinematic, monster, awesome movies. You know what? I would go see a Tarantino film in the theater because his is done cinematically. He uses film still, and it's cool. I will see his shit. But really, I don't go, and I don't have to because my shit at home is just fine by me. I don't need it anymore. So I'm trying to look.
I'm trying to look to see if I can pick off just from my own memory. What's the first non-movie in a theater that was up for Best Picture? And to be honest with you, it looks like maybe The Irishman. And that was Martin Scorsese. And I don't think that was in a theater. So maybe he's out of that argument of.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a Netflix movie?
That was a big Netflix thing when it came out, just that. And it was like 5 hours long. I don't think I ever finished it. And I love it.
Was okay. It's just like all the guys had an Instagram filter. I'm trying to figure out when they started saying, okay, Netflix, you're in these movies that you're making. I mean, it's a movie house. It's a movie company. It's the same as Warner Brothers. Amazon just bought Warner Brothers, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So those are movie houses. They're movie studios. Their platform is delivering it to your home. So
what's great about
I get why it changed, but there's still, I always hang on to old shit, and it just seems like you should still be forced to go to the theater to see some of these.
But I like it because it's given us all a lot more content. It's given voice to a lot of writers that were just getting left in the dark, that their shit never saw the light of day. So we're seeing so much more shit right now. We're super lucky. Before it's like, okay, I saw 12 movies at the theater this year, which is a lot, I guess. But now I've watched 25 movies at home and they were all good. The shows that you can watch, the series are unbelievable. That shit wasn't happening before. So I'm okay with Netflix doing what they're doing. You're right. It's a studio. It's its own thing. They got hundreds and hundreds of directors, writers, everything just sitting there, just churning shit out. And a lot of it's really fucking good,
So the criteria for our list is it has to win Best Picture, right? Like that's the money right there.
That's it. Had to win the Best Picture any year from 1971 till 2020. What year were we in?
Why started 71?
I think this one started, wasn't it, or was it earlier?
The Oscars?
Yeah,
dude. The Academy Awards go back to the 30s.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure I didn't see any of those fucking movies. Oh yeah, you're right.
The first winner to win an Academy Award for Best Picture, the movie Wings, in 1927.
Yeah, I got to be honest. All About Eve is not on my list from 1951. Pretty sure.
I mean, yeah, these go way back.
1941.
I didn't know it was the 20s. I knew it was the 30s.
Yeah, we should probably do a little more research.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Minor in a pretty good wheelhouse here. I'm pretty sure.
All right. 1971 was a Clockwork Orange, though. That was up for Best Picture. It did not win.
No, the Godfather, I believe, won for
71 was the French Connection.
Patton.
Patton was 1970.
We're not looking at the same list, obviously. I'm a year off.
Okay.
I don't know what list I'm looking at then. Anyway, who gives a shit?
You're looking at the shitty one.
I might be right and you might be wrong. You ever think of that, Rod? You ever think of that for once? Huh? I might be right.
There's no way anything on Wikipedia is not true.
Jesus.
It's just not possible.
I'm looking at the Today Show's list, and it's fairly recent. It's from 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
Maybe
All right. So you want me to go first? I think I think we're going to probably sync up 3, possibly 4. Fuck. Who knows? Maybe the whole damn list.
Who knows? All right. Fire away. I want to hear this. This is going to be good.
Tell me what year you have. Number 5, Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, shit. Silence of the Lambs. What did I write down here? I can't remember. I get 1992. do you got?
This says 1991.
Fuck, it doesn't matter, dude.
So it's right around there. It beat JFK that year. JFK was a pretty fucking great movie, man. But Silence of the Lambs was better. So I've got that in at my number 5. My number 4 is The Godfather, which I'm sure you're going to tell me that came out in
71, 72.
71, 70. Yeah, I got that for 72. So The Godfather is in at number 4. It's one of those. Is it always going to be great? When is it going to be not a great movie?
You know what? I'm probably going to piss everybody off, but I haven't seen that movie in probably 25 years.
Okay.
It hasn't come across my path. I don't see it on TV a lot. Maybe I just miss it. It's great. I get it. You know what? Because I haven't watched it in so damn long.
Fucking great.
I need to go back.
So
and watch
great.
it. Yeah. It's
so unbelievably great. But then there's somebody that's probably saying Lawrence of Arabia is great. How come nobody talks about that? You know, the massiveness of Lawrence of Arabia, and that's right. 60s. That's early 60s. There's a whole generation of, like you said, you just told me that you thought the Oscar started in 71. So there's all of these movies. I mean, Ben-Hur, another one.
You know why?
Because going back to my mom, we watched all this stuff when we were young.
Yeah. You know why I said 71? That's when it did start, because that's when I was born. That's when it all started. 71. Pre-71.
Oh yeah, the world. Yeah, there you go. Once that ass came into the world, then that's it. We could start living. Let's
start getting it done.
Let's start up a thing called Hollywood. Let's make movies. Let's make music. Let's just do stuff. It sucked, dude. I was around for 2 years before that. It sucked. There was nothing going on.
Pretty fucking boring, wasn't it?
When's fucking Ginty getting here? This is boring. Nothing to do.
Fucking Cars just sucked.
Casablanca, it's the 40s. All right, so Silence of the Lambs 5, Godfather 4, number 3, and this is where I'm interested to see the battle of these two movies. I have Braveheart at 3, 1995. It beat out Apollo 13, which is another great movie, but Braveheart's better. But it's not better than Gladiator. Gladiator's better to me.
Wow.
Those two movies, they're neck and neck, and that's my 3 and my 2. Braveheart's at 3, Gladiator at 2. Number 1, Best Picture winner, Rocky.
Wow.
And I think my list is right, dude, because that was 1976.
Yeah. I don't know. What a fucking stupid list I pulled up.
Well, you figured if it was released, though, your list is probably the year that it won. The movie came out in 76. Rocky probably won Best Picture in 1977. So I see how our lists are gelling now. But Rocky is my favorite, one of my favorite movies of all time. And the fact that it did win Best Picture, it's the best picture of all time.
And what's really interesting about that movie, and I had watched it 25 years ago, right? Or a long time ago.
Is that another one that you haven't seen in a long time?
I hadn't seen it in a long time. And then we started like opening up the floodgates a little bit for my son about just, good movies and stuff. And he was gravitating towards a lot of sports movies, and I'm like, okay, so I did some research on Rocky. I'm like, well, other than the beating the shit out of dudes, it's really there's not much in it. It's not bad, No. And I said, well, let's watch Rocky, dude. And I must have watched it from a different perspective as a younger man, because when I watched this time, yeah, the fighting was all great and I fucking loved it. But man, the love story and all the family drama and all the bullshit, really, I didn't realize how great all that was when I watched it when I was much younger. All that stuff really punched up. I didn't realize what a lovable, goofy, knuckleheaded dude Rocky was. I didn't get it the first time through years ago. You know what I mean?
And then he saw the diamond in the rough, that was Adrian. I mean, she was this nerdy chick. And then she went on to be pretty hot. I mean, she was never bombshell hot, but she was pretty hot though in those later Rocky movies.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it took me the later years to figure out, it wasn't just about the fights. I'm like, when are they going to fucking fight? This movie's boring. Back in the day. Now I was like, this is unbelievable.
So did Hank make it through it or no?
Yeah. No, I think we watched all the Rockies, and then we all, even the newer ones with what's it called, with Apollo.
Creed.
Creed. We watched those. Yeah, we're fucking Rocky fans, man. All the way from 1 to whatever they're 23 or whatever they're on. You know, we watched a lot of them.
He liked them.
He loved them, especially as they got, you know, more modern. Like the Russian one was great with Drago. That's fucking
Rocky 3.
I think it was 3.
Right. 1, 2. No, 3 is
4.
4 is the Russian.
Right. Which, by the way, I had this thought the other day. Every bar should just be playing Rocky 4 and Miracle over and over again right now. In their bars, that's all you want to see. Go USA, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's all.
And then throw on Red Dawn, because I think they were kind of Russian-y. I don't know who they were. That was Wolverines.
right.
So
wow,
you don't have Godfather, so our lists are going to be different.
They're a little different. Yeah, this is good. What the hell did I say? I put at number 5 Gladiator. Number 5, I put Gladiator. I love the movie. I think it's great.
That means you think Braveheart's better than Gladiator.
I do. But you know what? I think I've seen Braveheart more times. I've only watched Gladiator probably 4 or 5 times total. And it's been a while. So now I'm going to have to go back and watch that damn movie again. I love it. It's freaking great. It's just great. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't even die on that hill. I would, if somebody could talk me into telling me that Braveheart's better. Somebody could, and I could go, okay, they're both so unbelievably great.
Yeah.
Similar. Yeah, kind of, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. All right. So you got Gladiator at 5.
That was 2000, 2001, 2000, whatever.
It won in 2001 and it beat Chocolat.
Oh, bummer. I didn't see that. Number 4. This is a similar one. I had Silence of the Lambs at number 4. Dude,
I don't watch scary shit. I don't like scary movies. And that something the way that they did it. I mean, I don't like, jump scares and all of that. That Silence of the Lambs was fucking scary. I mean, it was scary.
It was,
and I still watched it though. For some reason, I was just drawn to it. Everyone was talking about it when it came out.
Dude, I laughed. I know the movie is scary, disturbing, and fucked up. And dude, I'll never forget the first time I saw it. I laughed so fucking hard when the first time Clarice meets Hannibal Lecter, right? She's got to walk down the hallway past all the fucking crazy people in the jail cells. She meets with him. She fucking meets with him, turns around, walks back. She stops, and there's one of the crazy dudes just fucking tugging, right? He's just freaking working one out. And she stops, he yells something, and he throws his fucking man goo right at her, hits her in the eye.
Yeah.
And the best part, he goes, "Gotcha."
Yeah, he loads in his hand and then throws it at her.
He hums his babies at her and it hits her right in the eye.
But doesn't Hannibal Lecter kill that guy later? He kind of gets back at him. He does that for her.
Because it was disrespectful as hell.
He's I took, Miggsy's no longer around. I forgot the guy's name.
Dude, when he says gotcha,
I forgot about that scene.
I was so creeped out and disturbed. But when he said gotcha, I'm like, you didn't need to say the gotcha, bro. I think it was implied. Fucking awful. Oh, God damn, that's so gross. I love that movie. Number 3. Talk about shifting gears. This is going to be tough to shift.
It is Miggs.
Is it really?
I just Googled it. It's you can even go see it on YouTube. It's the Miggs Jizz Toss. Holy shit. I knew the guy's name. Miggsy. Yeah. I took old Miggsy out.
Oh, fuck.
All right. Silence of the Lambs at 4. Number 3.
Gotcha is the best. Schindler's List is
okay.
So brutal. But I've watched that probably 4 times ever. And
once.
I
saw it once. What did you go back? I mean,
brutal.
I saw Passion of the Christ one time. You went back to watch Schindler's List more?
I have, and I'll probably do it again some point. You know what?
What's going on in your life that you're going back to that movie?
I don't know. I should go back to Silence of the Lambs instead.
Miggs.
It's just so great in a horrible way. You know what? I like to serve it up as a constant reminder that, hey, shit can be way worse, I guess. I don't know. It is a great fucking movie, but man,
I'm watching it right now, by the way.
Schindler's List or the...
Here he goes.
Here we go. Gotcha. Gotcha. And she's just standing there going, it's in her hair.
So back to Schindler's List. I've seen it one time.
It's hard.
Great. I just don't imagine watching that again.
It's so brutal. It's so brutal. But geez, man, you know what? Sometimes you just need that reminder, I guess. I don't know why I go back to it, but I do. That's at number 3. Number 2, Braveheart. I got it number 2, dude. I got it number 2.
Okay.
I love Braveheart. Number 1. And I hope I didn't fuck up my list because now I'm questioning myself because I'm like, oh shit, was this actually a winner?
Well, no. All I was giving you years that it came out. You were giving me years it won.
Okay.
So we're good.
The Departed, the fucking Departed won an Academy Award for Best Picture. Martin Scorsese, dude, I will watch that movie every time it comes on. That is brutal in so many different levels, so many different layers. The first time I watched it, I fucking was blown away. I'm not going to ruin the movie. Why? Leo DiCaprio got shot in the elevator. I ruined it. So
come on.
When that happened,
everybody fucking dies.
I know, but
almost
when Leo gets whacked, that was such a shock. You're cheering for this poor bastard to get through this whole thing, right? And he's doing it. He's almost home. He's getting close. He's starting to see the light.
Well, because the dude from Blackish fucked up.
Yeah.
My boy from Blackish. I love that guy. He fucked it up.
Yep. And it's like, he's almost home. And the way they did it, it was just so brutally and just who gives a shit about this fucking guy? And then on they went with the movie and you're just like, whoa, that was heavy. So, and then the rap in that movie is so great. And they're all brutal. And Nicholson's so good, man. He's so creepy. And the best scene when he's got those whores. They're on the bed, bent over, and he's got this huge, his face is full of blow, and he takes a fistful of blow in slow motion, and he throws it at the girl's ass, and he tells the other whore, go in and get some. I'm like, oh, I love that guy.
He was great. That I got that down as my number. That was my number 6. That was my number 6. As I was looking at movies that just pissed me off that didn't win. You know, Jaws didn't win for Best Picture. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Jaws was so huge to me when I was a little kid. Like Jaws was everything. I get it. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, beat it. And the other movie that didn't win Best Picture, and Chicago wins in 2002. And I know we both agree it should have been Gangs of New York.
Oh yeah, that guy.
That just reeks of Best Picture. Now, full disclosure, I did not see Chicago, but Gangs of New York is like the biggest travesty of not being being number 1 that year, winning the Oscar. That's the best movie that came out that year. It had to be.
I thought it still is. I still love that movie.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Did he win for Bill the Butcher or not? Best actor?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Such a greasy character, dude.
No, he didn't. I don't think he won for that.
That's bullshit. Who the fuck's voting for that? This dumb. It's dumb. You know what? A lot of times your movie doesn't win, and that's why you watch. You want to see your movie win. You know, the one you like. You're like, oh, my movie was the one that won is shit compared to this one. You know.
So I've got Departed at 6. I have Platoon at 7.
Yeah, Platoon was good.
And Beautiful Mind.
Yes, I had Beautiful Mind in my.
Beautiful Mind is fucking awesome. And again, that's Russell Crowe and Gladiator. So Beautiful Mind is really, really good.
You know what I had on my list? I wrote it down, was $1 Million Baby with Clint Eastwood, the boxer, the chick boxer.
Amazing movie. I have that written down as well.
I had that written down. I was like,
amazing movie. That ending, I won't give that away. That ending was sad, man. So I'm giving something away, but that was sad. Golly. What's her name? She's great. She's like one of the Swenson.
Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank she's a top 5 actress. Didn't we do that a long time ago? Top 5 actresses?
I think so.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Hilary Swank's the top 5 actress all time. That's how good she is. I mean, of course, you got to put Meryl Streep on there just because I guess it's against the law not to put her on there. But yeah, Hilary Swank, fuck, she's good.
Yeah,
She's amazing at everything she does. $1 Million Baby, because it's a Clint Eastwood movie, you know? Did The Unforgiven win?
I think
The Unforgiven one, that's a Clint Eastwood movie. And that's a pretty great movie too. I just didn't think it was as great as everybody said it was.
Who won for 1993?
Unforgiven did win.
Who won in 93? Because that was Tombstone. And I'm not saying Tombstone was the best movie that year, but Val Kilmer, that's
Schindler's List. Well, so Unforgiven came out in 92. It must have won in 93. Unforgiven beat The Crying Game. Few Good Men probably should have won Best Picture. I think A Few Good Men was the best.
Yeah.
Scent of a Woman. You know what? I don't think it's as great as everybody says it is.
No, not compared to those.
I like it, but I just don't think it's, I don't know why everybody loves that movie so much. It's good. I don't think I saw Howard's End, but yeah, Unforgiven did win Best Picture. I think A Few Good Men is better. I do.
I liked A Few Good Men. Let's see here. I'm just trying to see who.
Loved it.
Schindler's List beat The Fugitive and The Piano. Yeah. What?
But Daniel Day-Lewis won for The Piano. I think he won Best Actor that year.
Right.
So I don't know how many he has. He's got 4.
Fuck.
He might have 4 Academy Awards.
He's the Tom Brady of movies.
Well, I
I
don't
know why I brought that name into this, because now you're just going to be pissed off.
No, he's not in The Piano. Harvey Keitel's in The Piano. What am I thinking of? Oh, he's in. What is that movie called?
In the
My
Name
Left
of the
Foot.
Father. In the Name of the Father, I think that was the one he was in.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know this stuff offhand. Pulp Fiction was up for Best Picture, and it lost to Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump
was great.
Because Tarantino wasn't Tarantino yet. Pulp Fiction looked totally different. Okay. Came out in 94. Shawshank came out in 94. Shawshank maybe should have won Best Picture. Shawshank has become like this AMC classic because it's on so much, but it was recognized as being one of the best movies in 1994. So Quiz Show, Shawshank, Pulp Fiction, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Forrest Gump wins. Forrest Gump was the best movie.
Yeah,
it was.
I was watching an interview recently with Andy Dufresne, whoever the guy is. I can't think of his name right now. Andy Dufresne, the character anyway. And he was saying how when it came out, it didn't do great at the box office. It took time to build. They knew they had a good movie, but it just took a while to get going. And now, of course, it's on every weekend on TBS or something. You can watch it. But it wasn't like it came out and rocked out of the gate. And they were like, well, okay, I guess that's how it's going to go. And then it just created this huge cult following ever since. I mean, if it's on
Tim Robbins,
there you go. See, I knew I'd get it eventually. I'm so bad at this. I'm just trying to think.
So Quentin Tarantino does not have a Best Picture award. The closest he got was Pulp Fiction, right? Because Once Upon a Time in New York, Once Upon a Time in LA,
Hollywood,
that
didn't win.
I think Brad Pitt got Best Actor, but I don't think the movie won.
Yeah.
So Quentin Tarantino, I don't know if he's got cinematography. I don't know if he's got writing credits. I don't know if he owns an Academy Award. Probably does. But you want that Best Picture, and he doesn't have that. That's a shame.
He's won Best Original Screenplay.
Yep.
3 times. Best Picture 2020.
2020.
Yeah, he won. Dude, what are we doing? We're just sitting here fucking humming and hawing about fucking Oscars. We are the gay Super Bowl right now, the way we're talking about it. You wonder why it works.
He didn't win Best Picture in 2020?
He didn't?
No.
Are we using the same internet?
I guess. It went Green Book, then Parasite, then Nomadland.
Yeah.
With Frances McDormand. And then you got all the movies from this year. Huh. So no, Once Upon a Time in LA did not win Best Picture.
He's got a lot of screenwriting credits, awards, cinematography. I think he won 1 or something. Yeah, that's tough, man. Because now you know, you could go and argue a lot of older movies that were great. You know what one was really cool and fucked up that won a couple years ago was that movie, The Parasite. Was it that Korean movie? I might have that wrong. It 2 years
came out in 2019.
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, in a very kind of Squid Game sort of way.
I never saw it. Do I got to read subtext? The whole thing?
I think so. Yes. And I thought the same thing, but then once you get into it, you're kind of okay with it. But the story's great. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up.
So it beat Joker, and I thought Joker was going to win that year. I really thought that. I'm like, can they allow another Joker like in there? I know that I thought Joaquin Phoenix was amazing. I thought the movie was really, really good. And I'm not superhero guy, but Joker, The Irishman, Ford versus Ferrari. I was surprised. I didn't think that didn't reek of, I was really, really good. It didn't reek of a best picture to me.
No, but I love that movie. The more I watched
it, was good.
I really like that movie a lot. The story of that driver, man, is so great. And it's just hard to get past Matt Damon in a film anymore. He just looks like Matt Damon all the time. I have a real hard time getting past him. You know, the other guy, the fuck is his name? Guy from American Psycho, Batman. The hell's his name? People are screaming right now. They know the
Christian
name.
Bale. Christian Bale.
They're fucking screaming at the podcast right now. They're
I'll get there. Just give me a second. I'll get there. Yeah, Christian Bale. I mean, he's awesome. I mean, he elevates every movie that he's in.
He's unbelievable in that movie too, man. You don't even realize it's him. But I have trouble getting past Matt Damon anymore because it's just fucking Matt Damon. I can't look past him. He's a great actor. I like him. I just can't get past him as a character. You know, you're like, oh, that's just Matt Damon with a cowboy hat in Ford versus Ferrari. Great movie though.
Parasite won Best Picture the year that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out.
That's what it was.
So yeah, so Quentin Tarantino has not won for one of his movies yet, like for Best Picture, and I think you want that one before you call it a day.
But I think he said he's got one more in him, and I think that's it. He's had a master plan all along. Make one more, and it's like, and then they want to write novels and books and shit. And it's like, dude, I loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. In fact, the more I watch, the more I like it. You know,
I love all of his movies. I'm trying to think of one that I'm trying to think one that I don't like. I'm talking about his movies, start to finish, his movies, because you know he's got involvement in all of these other movies. You know, and he's done stuff with Robert Rodriguez. But when it's his project from start to finish, you know, Jackie Brown is not the best movie I've ever seen, but it's really good.
Yeah, that's
you know, like it's really good. Foxy Brown.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't love it. I think I need to go watch it again though, because it's one of those ones where you're like, oh man, maybe
it's okay. I mean, it's a good movie. It's just not great. It's just a good movie.
Yeah, you know, even like Django Unchained is so great, brutal, fucking great. You know, I don't know. His shit is so good,
dude. Inglourious Bastards,
so
Hateful
good.
Eight. Hateful Eight is amazing. Like that movie, just the dialogue in it, it's like a play. Like his movies, it goes back to Reservoir Dogs. Yep. Reservoir Dogs could have been a play. It was done in very few scenes. Yep. Same thing with Hateful Eight. It's awesome.
And Hateful Eight is really, really fucked up. It's so good.
That's where they go to that cabin, right?
Yep. They're out in the snow and
it's amazing.
You don't know who's going to die next. And it's like, holy shit. It's so great. Yeah, shit. Damn it. These fucking movies. Now I'm going to spend all weekend watching movies if I had time. I don't. So I won't. It's not going to happen. If you
any final thoughts?
Actually, you know, we were talking about, this is so weird how this comes together, is we were talking about driving first cars last episode, in episode 44, about like, you know, how we got our first cars and all that shit. And driving on the way home, right? 5 minutes before we were to record the podcast. And there's this fucking little beat up little car in front of me going kind of slow, you know, in the slow lane. It's all good. Fair enough. You know, and I saw there's a sticker on it and it said new. It was a bright yellow sticker. And then in black letters, it said, new driver, please be patient.
Stop.
So I'm like, I swear to God. So I pull out, pass it. And so what do I do when I pass it? I pass real slow just so I can see. Just girl, barely could see over the steering wheel, probably 16, 17 years old.
What's up, Buttercup?
Looks scared as shit. I wanted to fucking like kind of swerve at her and lean into the horn, but I was like, no, don't be a dick.
Animal.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that asshole. And it just got me thinking, who the fuck puts that sticker on their kid's car? That's awful. That's like, you're going to get kicked in the shins.
I don't think kids care. When you and I were young, you would be like, oh my God, I'm not leaving the driveway. And if your parents stuck that on your car when you were young, you would have thought it was a prison sentence. Okay.
Yeah, terrible.
You would have thought it was the scarlet letter A, and you would have made such a huge deal about it. A parent puts it on their kid's car. They don't give a shit.
Nobody cares.
They don't care about that stuff. They don't care about looking cool.
And that's right.
They don't care about any of that.
But that's right. I mean, you know what? That should have been on everybody's car. Hey, new driver here, man. Give it a second.
Right.
Give him some room. Be cool. It totally makes fucking sense all day long. But fuck, you think I'm going out with that when I'm 16? Hell no. I'd have put a different sticker over top of it. We'd have had a sticker fight.
100%.
Me and my mom would have had sticker fights.
I would have just had a magnet. I would have had a magnet that as soon as I got out of the driveway, I slapped it over it, and that was it.
It's like, holy shit. I couldn't believe it. I never saw anything like that before on a car. And I'm like, wow, that's so weird, dude. How about you? Any final thoughts?
Couple things. The only reason why I talk about it is because a kid heard me talking about going to the doctor for my annual physical. And my little Indian guy, I love him. Shout out Dr. D'Souza, little Indian man, little hands. And he had to stick his finger in my fanny yesterday.
Woof.
Doesn't fucking give you anything to clean up either. You go home with a sloppy asshole. You got to drive home with a sloppy asshole.
Yeah,
the whole time. And
weird.
Then you go and then you wipe up and you clean up. But I mean, your ass cheeks, there's that gelatinous, whatever he's got on his fingers. It stays. He doesn't clean you up. Like your doctor, it goes in, out. He does not wipe your ass, nor does he offer you something to wipe your ass. So you go home with a sloppy ass.
It looks like Clarice's face.
A little bit. Miggs. So Miggs is in there digging around, checking my prostate. And
gotcha.
The only reason why I talk about it now, and I never forget to talk about it, is because I had a kid call me up or sent me an email and said, Rod, I heard your thing, and I got the whole montage of all the songs I play. I do a whole thing. He said he got on his dad. He's like, listen, the guy on the radio, blah, blah, blah. He said it's very treatable. He goes, early detection is key. 1 in 8 men are going to experience prostate cancer in their lifetime. If you get in there early and detect it, we can fix this stuff, okay? It is one of the most, if not the most curable cancers. So he said something to his dad. He talked his dad into going in for the check and to get just a regular routine checkup. And they found something and they detected it early. Ooh. It's because the kid heard it on the radio and went to his dad. They caught it early and his dad's just fine to this day. I will never not at least mention I'm going to the doctor, dumb dudes. I'm going to get the finger in my butt. I make fun of it. It's not a big deal. It's uncomfortable. My doctor talks to me the whole time. He's like, okay, assume the position. We go through this whole little dog and pony show. My doctor says, Rod, do you think I like doing this? He goes, do you think I like this? I said, you can't. He goes, no, but it's a part of his job. Some doctors will check your prostate through your PSA levels in your blood work. If you're like me with my insurance, I have to get blood work done. That's the one where you fast for 6 hours and they check everything. And a lot of you out there, your doctor is fine with it. And that's great. If you're low risk, I bet you are okay. But my doctor, I bring it up to him all the time. He's like, don't you want to be sure? And that's where he goes into the whole thing. You don't think I like this, do you? So he checked my fanny and I'm good. And I tell the story because like you agree, dudes are a little dumb and they don't go and get checkups. So please go do that, everybody, for my dudes out there. Yeah. And then Melissa just sent me an update. Melissa, who listens to the show, and she said, wow, man, I'm so proud to be a part of this. Look what your badass listeners did. And Amazon Smile just sent out one of those updates.
Oh, nice.
And the Rod Ryan Show Cares Inc. is how you find us on Amazon Smile, has received, as of March 2022, $22,984.98.
That's from the first of the year.
Nope. That's since we got accepted from on Amazon Smile. So it's only been a couple of years.
Holy shit, that's insane.
So it's only been a couple of years. So $22,984.98 that people have gone to Amazon.com. They've switched to Amazon Smile, which is the same shopping experience. And I'm not telling you that you have to pick my charity, because wherever you're hearing this podcast, there might be something super cool and local that you'll find in the drop-down menu. There's a ton of charities. We were accepted at Amazon.com as like a verified and a legitimate charity that Amazon was comfortable using. Damn. So there's things for animals. There's things, listen, I love my dog. My dog's a rescue and I'm a hero and I get it. I'm in the humans helping humans. So that's kind of the things that I kind of gravitate towards. But there are things for military. There are things for healthcare. There's just so much to choose from. Why every one of you has not switched to Amazon Smile is beyond me. And I can tell you why you haven't switched, because you didn't hear about it, because you didn't know it was even an option. They never spend any advertising money on that. But out of the goodness of their heart, Amazon will donate a portion of what you buy. You don't have to spend any extra money. And it's not even every single product on there, but I don't know how they divide that pie up, but they'll do all the math. And out of the goodness of their hearts, I'm sure they're getting a nice tax deduction, but they will put money into a charity that you choose. So Amazon Smile, everybody.
Yeah, that's what you got to use. No shit. That's awesome.
Yeah. Very, very cool. I mean, I still have the letter, when we got accepted. It's like Amazon said, okay, you're in. Like, what? It's scary. It's like, oh shit, this is for real. The Rob Ryan Show Cares is a real charity. And it is. I mean, listen, I got the letter. You got to keep all this stuff on file anyway. But I mean, when the IRS says, okay, we believe you. We believe you. You're not going to have to pay taxes on this, on the money that you raise. We believe that what you're doing is legitimate. That's why you get that 501c3 from the government. They're like, okay, we'll allow you to raise money and we're not going to intervene. Those are big, big days when you do a charity, when you get those things. But Amazon was right there with the IRS for me.
That's awesome. Holy shit. That's a lot of money, dude. That's good. Congratulations. That's freaking great.
Oh,
that is really, really cool.
And dude, I'm boarding.
Wait, what?
Skateboarding. I'm showing the YouTube audience.
Oh, yeah. You're skateboarding.
This is my deck. This is my trucks. I'm skateboarding. I haven't dropped in yet, but I'm skateboarding with the 8-year-old next door, Emmett, and I bought my daughter a skateboard. We're skateboarding, bro. I'm in. Kids will keep you young.
You're not dropping into a pool, I hope. You're gonna just be, that's a cruiser, right? You're not doing
yet. No. 8-year-old's dropping in, so I'm behind. He was practicing today. He was calling me outside. I'm like, Emmett, I got stuff to do. I'm working here. I'm trying to get ready for the damn podcast. And he was kind of getting on me that I wasn't practicing with him out there.
Wow. That's rough. Those kids can be brutal, man. They're tough.
Skateboarding,
Skateboarding. I do like skateboarding. That's just I ain't dropping in, but I'll cruise skateboards all day long. I love riding a skateboard.
Before the summer, we will have a video of me dropping in.
Oh, scares the shit.
It won't be a huge deep bowl, but I'm going to drop in, dude.
It freaks me out. I'm like, you know what? When you fall at this age, ow.
It hurts. It hurts.
Wait. Dude, I'll get, you know what? Here we go. You ready? I think you dropped a 10.
You think I dropped a 10 on that?
I think you've come around. You dropped a 10. You got a skateboard. That's 10s. That's 10s.
52-year-old idiot on a skateboard.
No, that's dropping.
The mean streets of the Heights, Houston, Texas. It's like it's our own dog town over here.
You Lords of Heights.
We got the Z boys. It's the H boys over here.
You wearing a helmet?
Yes.
Yes. Good. I'm glad you said yes. Even if you're not, say yes because you.
No, I'm absolutely wearing a helmet.
Okay. Now you're back down to a 9. No, I'm kidding. You're
Come on.
Pussy, you're wearing a helmet. What the hell's wrong with you, dude? Skateboard. That's fucking cool.
Kind of cool. Does Henry skateboard?
He didn't like it. He can do it. He doesn't like it, which is weird.
He doesn't. It's not his thing. I mean, I don't know how the streets are by you. Would you have to go somewhere?
No, my street's not bad. His uncle Gabriel skateboards. He drops in. He's at skate parks all the time. He's like crazy. Like
Okay.
he's one of the Lord's Dogtown, at least in New Orleans. Like he can ride. And he's taken Hank over there a couple times, and he's like, "No, I'm not doing that shit."
Okay.
But my Henry is self-preservation, I think, a little more than most 13-year-olds.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
for
he's a
him.
little smarter than me. That's for sure by a mile. Rod, you dropped to 10. It's that. See, once it starts, you just keep clicking them off. After that, dude, you just keep clicking them off.
Well, I can tell you where it's going to stop if I fucking wipe out and break my wrist. Guess what? Enough of your 10 dropping.
Wow, that will end it. That counts as a -3. You break a bone, -3, unless you do it in a really cool way. And we got video that shows it. Okay. When you drop in, there better be video.
Dude, if I drop in, there's going to be a 3-camera shoot. Okay. It's going to be like a sitcom.
Helmet
okay?
cam. Dude, helmet cam, dude. You got to rig something up, get a GoPro on your.
I will have everything going on. Trust me. When I drop in, it will be documented. When I drop in, notice I said that, not if I decide to do it. When I drop in a bowl, it will be a small one, but it will happen before summer.
Oh, well, mark this down. Episode 45, dropping into a bowl. Okay,
Yep.
we got it.
And I never have. I didn't do that back in the day.
No,
I just skateboarded on the street with everybody.
just
And I had one of those penny boards or whatever, the plastic ones. I never had like a cool skateboard. And everybody did it. It was like right when the skateboarding craze hit, when it finally hit North Tonawanda, every kid had a skateboard that year. In 1 year, everybody was out skateboarding. And that same year, they put new asphalt on my street. I grew up on a really cool street, and it was a dead end. So, I mean, hockey, stickball, football, street, we played in the street all the time.
Right.
And that summer that everybody got into skateboarding, they redid our street. So you had to let it dry, and then boom, we had the sweetest. I mean, it was awesome because it was still dark, right? I mean, your street, over time, it just turns gray, right?
Yeah.
But it was black, and it was so smooth, dude. And that was the summer. That was like the summer of skateboarding.
Most of us would just, growing up the same way, as it was our transportation. You'd have your bike, but if you had a buddy that didn't live too far away, skateboard. Your bike was for the longer distance run. The skateboard was just up and down the street. And I love skateboard. I like doing it. Just it's good exercise. It's fun. You're just humming along. You're just standing.
It is great exercise, by the way.
It's fun.
Dangerous for people our age. Great exercise.
But man, I tell you what, and you know what, when I tell you, it's that fucking stone that it hits it wedges perfectly on the wheel, and you hear that awful skid sound, and then fucking you're tumbling down the street.
Yep.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, the board can just stop like that. Boom.
It's like, that's my only fear of skateboarding is I know I'm confident in my ability to stand up and not kill myself. One little stone will wreck shop, dude. One little stone will ruin it every time. Fuck.
I'll keep you posted.
Can't wait to see. I'm watching videos. I can't wait to see the bones breaking. I mean,
shut up.
You dropping in. A lot of screaming. All right. Well.
All right. Episode 45 in the books, man. Thank you to our sponsor. Sorry, I puked all over your commercial today, but piratesofthequarter.com and at Pirates of the Quarter, our only sponsor. But I feel like prestige worldwide. Investors, possibly you.
Yeah, if you want to sponsor this, first of all, figure it out why. And then, let us know. Contact us through our social media pages. We're around, and we'll get back to you.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll see you later.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Let's go. It's time. Put on play pants.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages at PlayPantsPod.